Yo, Zach Bradshaw, the Greensboro SEO Pro, back with another bite-sized internet marketing tutorial. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to add and manage user permissions in Google Search Console. Much like our other user permissions video, all we're going to talk about is how to add and manage user permissions within Google Search Console. So this is a video that will go out to clients, prospective clients, a couple of trainings for my team, and anybody else that just needs a short overview of how to do this. So the first thing you really need to do, and obviously this would be from an account that already has access to the Google Search Console property. You'll go to search.google.com/search console, and it will bring up whatever property you were last in, essentially. Within these different properties, there's multiple ones, and now there's a new property as property type as well, but typically there's a version for each 4 versions of your site. So HTTP, let's zoom this in. So HTTP, there's a version for your HTTPS, and here I'll just show it to you real quick. The HTTPS, and this, you'll see that the performance changes, right? And that's because this is showing how many times this version of the URL has been shown in search engines. So then the other two are the www version, and I think this one shows up a couple times as well on search engines, so you see some performance within that one. And then the HTTP without the S, but still with the www, and this one probably doesn't show at all because I've never had it showing. So there's now a new property within Search Console, and obviously if you have like a mobile site that's m.greensboroseopro.com or whatever other properties you may have within Search Console, all of these same rules apply when it comes to the user permissions. But now there's a new Search Console property that I'm not including in this one. I haven't set it up for Greensboro SEO Pro yet, only done it for a couple of clients, and I'm waiting till I'm ready to make a video about that new type of domain property before I add it to this one, and that will be part of that example. But in order to change user permissions, it's pretty simple. You just go to the settings, and preferably, if you're doing this right, especially before they had this new domain property that will aggregate all those together, it was important that you set this up for all 4 versions of your site like that. And then again, the mobile version, and maybe a secure and a non-secure mobile version with the S and the HTTP, with the S in there with the HTTP, and then without. But for most of you guys, you're probably only going to set it up once. Preferably set it up on whichever version your website defaults to. So for me, the most important one is the HTTPS version, but by setting up all of the versions, you are then able to see when maybe a non-secure version or your www is showing up when you really don't want it to, or maybe you do want it to and it's not showing up, right? So having all the versions gives you the ability to look at all those, and if you're giving somebody like me permission to look at your accounts, it would be best if you set up all the versions and then gave me permission on all the versions so that I could tell you if there's anything wrong with, like, hey, all of these different versions show up the same amount. That's not how it should be, right? So there's a variety of things within that, but we might also ask you to give permission to, like, this tool within SEMrush. So when you are integrating all your tools together, like Search Console, Google Analytics, and everything else, there's a variety of tools that pull the information together better than those tools by themselves. So for example, we use SEMrush to pull data from Search Console and Google Analytics together into a new dashboard within SEMrush that offers us some extra data than the same dashboard that does that in Google Analytics, because Google Analytics has a dashboard to pull Search Console data into it, but the one for SEMrush offers some extra matching and some things that they're doing on their end. So back to user permissions. Fairly simple process. You've probably been staring at this button wishing I would talk about it for the longest. You just click it to add users. You have restricted and full, and so when you're setting up your users, there's only one owner within Search Console, and you have I think it's, maybe, I'm not sure whether it's this one or whether it's, I know you have a limit in Google Analytics, but I'm not sure whether you have a limit on the number of specific properties you can set up as the owner within Search Console. Now, for me, I just want to add my Greensboro SEO Pro email to this account. And I don't see where my button is. Oh, this is the one that is already. What is going on? Oh, is this covering? No. What the frick is going on? Greensboro SEO Pro.com. There's keywords everywhere covering something up. No, it's not. What? Okay, so I'm really not an idiot, guys. I figured it out. It's a it kind of messed up this video or whatever, and could potentially make this video again, and probably will, just because it will maybe save off 2 minutes off the video. But this is what happens in digital marketing sometimes. So believe it or not, the button has been here the whole time and just couldn't be seen. So it'll be curious whether in the video, whether you've been able to see this button the whole time, but I sure can't. But once I click on it, um, there it works. So there's other things you can do. You can add owners within this if you do it from the back end, but that's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to come in here and give someone else permission, and that's how I just did that on this property. Now what I would do is I would come and do that across all the versions. My URL has changed just slightly in here. Let me fix it back so it's not confusing to look at. And so now I'm going to go to this version of the property here. I could use this drop down, but I just don't want to show you everything that's in my account or whatever. Everybody's accounts that I have access to, I should say. Now, Greensboro SEO Pro.com. Add user, and there you saw it come up as I clicked it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do that across the rest of my properties. I'm not going to make you watch me do that for the last two, but preferably that's what you do. And if I'm ask you to add this backlink audit pro Gmail or a different backlink audit pro Gmail or something else for on some type of software, it is so that we can pull data from like this performance report directly into those tools, right? So that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Obviously, like my stuff and subscribe if you want to. If not, that's cool too. Of course, if you need help with SEO, I'm here to serve you. And until next time, I love you. Peace.